Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining my channel. I just wanted to say hello and just mention a few little things that I've been thinking about for quite a while now. But I've also been talking to a friend of mine about this topic, and we've been trying to figure out what is this all about. And so I am going to actually today I do have some notes written on the topic. And so yeah, I'm going to see if I can break this down a little bit. It's been something that's been on my mind and something that's been on my heart for mm, I don't know, probably more than a year, but I've just not been able to talk about it until now, except for to the one friend. And so the title of my video is where did some of my friends go? Where did my friends go? And it took me a while to figure out what this process is and what's actually happening when we see this going on. And so I feel like one of the things that is happening, and actually there are many things that are going on, but we just don't realize. One of the things is that we are actually making some changes in our life, and that puts us, I feel like it could be looked at in a couple of different ways. And so, one of the things I think about is it could be we are in a different vibrational frequency, if you will, or it, I don't know if I want to use the word category, but it really kind of puts us in a different dimension, different category. That's kind of a hard, uh, it's kind of hard for me to decipher which word I want to use because I want to say category, I want to say vibrational frequency, and which is something that I've been learning about. And so I will give you a story about a short. I try to make it short. This how this all started to come about. So I'm not sure if I don't know if I've mentioned it in my English videos. I also have a Spanish channel where I talk about things in Spanish, and what I do in Spanish I try to do in English equally. I try to make it really as equal as possible. And so I'm trying to remember if I mentioned it in Spanish. And so now I need to mention it in English. But a few years ago, and I think I did mention it, there was something going on in the world around across the globe, right? And this was in 2021. I became very, very ill. And I'm pretty sure I shared this story with in the English channel. On this channel, the English channel. Anyway, I many, many, many things started to unfold in my life. Things that I would never have thought of, things that I would never have guessed would have unfolded in my life. And with those things, with the things that started to unfold and started to happen, then people started coming into my life. New people that I had never met before, new people that I didn't know, that I had never seen before. And so my healing journey began, and my healing journey was quite a long time. It was probably closer to 2 years. By now, it's even been more than 2 years. But the healing journey that I needed to start in 2021 that I didn't know was going to happen started, and I started having new friends come into my life. So I actually moved to a new area, moved to a new state, a different state, and started meeting new people. Not really meeting in person because of what was going on in the world. How about this? However, because I have friends on what was the wonderful tool has been used and utilized over the years now is called Zoom. I was able to meet new friends and be a part of this whole wonderful system on Zoom. And so I met a lot of people through this avenue of meeting people, which we weren't able to do in person. So with that came a lot of new different people that I wasn't expecting. And so one of the persons was actually a person who heard that I was very ill and actually took it upon themselves to cook me a meal. And I had been not feeling well for such a long time, and my body had just been so weak, and so there were just a lot of things happening in my body that doctors could not figure out, could not find out. And my body was just starting to just really do things that I never would have expected. And so I see there's a lot of shadow. So sorry, shadows. Sorry about that. I was trying to go on earlier, and one thing and another, the lighting, the daylight went away because it started to get later and later. I was working on some other things online, and then I just thought, I really want to go online. I just really want to do a video. So here I am. So pardon me for all the shadow work. Not shadow work, but the shadows in my video. Pardon me for that. It's sometimes hard to get the lighting just right when it's evening. So back to this person. So they made me a meal that was pretty incredible. I had not been able to eat very well. If some of you don't know my journey and my what I was dealing with in my life, my body, excuse me, pardon me, my organs were starting to shut down. That was what my doctors came to the conclusion of, that my organs were starting to shut down. Mind you, I have two younger sons who are adults but younger sons, and am now a newer grandmother at this time. And so I don't know if I've shared that online yet before, but here it is. And so I was just facing a lot of health issues that no one really knew where they were coming from. Especially me, I had no idea where my health issues were coming from. And I was just doing everything that I could to try to face them in the most positive way possible. And so actually it was actually one of my sons who actually reached out to some people in the state that I lived in, because one of my sons does not live in the same state that I do. They live in another state. And so he reached out and was able to get some of the people in my area, some of my friends, to actually form this little team of meal making, like a meal making team. And so it was a beautiful experience. It was an incredible experience for me. And so the one meal that was I want to say it was probably my very first meal, maybe my second, it was probably my second meal, and it was a homemade meal. This person was just so, he made me this steak. He made vegetables. He made like asparagus and steak, and there was I believe there was rice or mashed potatoes. Actually, now that part I can't remember. And the thing about it is that the way that this person prepared this meal, I'm really not really big into steak. I will eat meat, but I'm not really a big steak eater. And so this person he made the steak in such a way that was just so delicious and so tender to me. And I ate it and I was just so happy. I was just so happy I just got this really good, delicious meal. Never met this person in person before, had never actually even seen this person in person before, had only seen them on Zoom. And so now I'm kind of going into a longer version of my story, but I want to set the precedence of how ill I was. I wasn't able to move, I wasn't able to walk very much. It was very limited. And yes, I was going to work every day, but it was just one of those things where you just feel like you're going to collapse every single day of your life. I never did collapse, thanks to God. I never did collapse, but I did just become more and more ill. And so it goes. This person made me the meal, and I started to feel better. I just within the like the next hour, I got up out of the bed, and then I got up. Well, first I got up out of the bed to go and eat the meal, and then I was able to actually from the sofa where I was sitting, and the meal was served to me by my at that time who was my husband. I I ate the meal, and then I was able to kind of just sit and process the meal and everything and digest it. And then within about an hour, I started to get up and do things. And I started to like, I went to my desk and I started to kind of clean off my desk and started kind of dust things off of my desk and just kind of organize. And I thought, what is happening? I feel so good. And I feel good. And and I actually feel like I have some strength, and I feel like I have some energy. It was so beautiful. And so with that, there were other people that started to bring me meals every day for about a week. People I had never met in person. Again, same thing. I had only ever met them on Zoom, and so it was very beautiful. It was very loving and very kind and very gracious and very hospitable in a time of our life that everyone was just at home. And so kind of fast forward to the next year. So by the next early spring, some things had unfolded and my life started to change, and things started to what felt like spiraling downward in in a negative way started to occur after being so ill. And just to kind of make everything kind of, like a long story kind of shorter, I just became a single person. And so with that came different changes that you never expect, changes that we don't foresee, and things start to unfold that we just never even imagined in our lives. And so this person, this gentleman, he was kind of a bit he was kind of he actually was an integral part of my life at this time the next year, so 2022. And with that person came another person, and then another person, and then two more people. So there was about five people, all integral parts of my life at this particular time in my life. And so the reason why I kind of titled this the reason why I titled this particular video in this way is because so after the spring of 2022, things just the way they unfolded, I just kind of started to feel like, where did this person go, and where did this person go, and where did this person go, and where did this person go? So these five people ended up helping me quite a bit, and actually there was a sixth person, plus all the people that were bringing me meals as well. They were all very loving and very caring and kind to me. And some of them I had never met in my life before yet. Until the future, I was able to start to meet people. So at the time, this one gentleman and then a couple of other gentlemen were helping me and getting me through some things, and they were just so helpful, and it was incredible. It was, to say the least, it was just it's a beautiful story to me because it's my story, even though there was so much negativity going on, and even though my life unfolded in a way that I never would have imagined, say 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. I never would have thought that I would be where I am today. And so these gentlemen were part of my life, and they did some things for me that I needed to do. I couldn't do on my own because I was sick, because I'm a woman, because it's not easy as a female to do all the things that needed to be done in my life. And so they were, pardon me, they were just so helpful and so especially kind to me, and I'm just so grateful to them. And I would love to name them on my video, but no one would know them, and so it's okay. Um, I will actually use their initials. One of them is S, one of them is M, and one of them is a D. Those are the gentlemen, and then the females are A and B, the two women that really helped me at that time in my life. And this is all separate from this the team of 17 nurses, doctors, anesthesiologists, and different people that I had on my medical team that were also very integral part of my life and getting me to where I am today, which is about 2 to 3 years later. And so I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful, first of all and foremost, to God, because He is the one who preserved my life and kept me going this whole time. And then connected me. I feel like God connected me with the different people in my life, and just like interwoven, gave me the people that I needed to be able to get through each of these days. And sometimes I felt like I was just getting through each minute of my life, each minute and hour and day of my life. It was a pretty precarious time in my life. And so I want to share this because sometimes we feel I felt I started I feel like things started to crumble, like they started to crumble in my life. And one, because I was ill, and then things went forward in that aspect, and then people were helping me and people were there to assist me, doctors, nurses, like I said, and then these particular friends that came to the rescue as far as meals and just being there for me as a support system. And then other things just started to unfold, and I felt like they were crumbling at times, because then when I was then at that time I was a married person, and then I became not a married person, things you never imagine. And so, but things that sometimes have to take place in order for us to get from this place in our life to now this place in our life. Not that we would ever want it, nor would I ever condone it, nor would I ever have asked for it, but sometimes they're just things that have to happen, and they just do, unfortunately. However, so the way things were going, I had these people in my life, and then there were things that started to unfold where they were there for a time and there for a while. And I guess I know that maybe some of you have heard, it's for a time or for a season. And so then at times, then I felt like, well, this person kind of exited from my life. And I kind of like to look at it. And I had a friend years ago in from another country had actually mentioned that we're like in a play, like our life is like it's like a play, right? And we're in a setting, and we're the scene of your play, the play of your life, the scene of your life. And so here you are, you're on the stage, and you're kind of like you're the lead role of your life, right? You're what I would even think of, we're the CEO of our own life, right? We are that lead role. We're the lead person. And so with that, people come and go onto the stage. People come and go into our life. And, you know, there's one scene and then there's another scene, and it just unravels like that. And so I got to feeling like, well, why did that person kind of exit the scene of my life? I didn't understand. And then there was another person that kind of exited the scene of my life. And then there was a whole couple that exited the scene of my life. And then the one person who had cooked me the meal, initial S, he was in my life for quite a while, and still is to some degree, but quite at a distance. And then it came to a point where then they weren't in my, kind of exited the scene of my life as well. And then there were other people coming and going and through into the scene of my life as well. And I just thought, this just feels so strange to me. I'm just a little more, I feel like I'm more connected in that area where I notice things like that, where someone else may not even notice, or may not even, it may not even bother them, or may even not even care about those things, right? But I was just very conscientious of that, and I don't know that I've always been that way. I can't really say I've always been that way, but in this particular time in my life, I felt like, yes, I am very much aware that people are kind of coming and going into my life, and I didn't understand why. And so, let's see, what else do I have in my notes? So, the first point is that we have this scene. We have this scene of our life, right? And then we have different actors, so to speak, that come and go into our life and into the scene of our life, into the scene of our moments of what is our life. And then the second thing is that those actors kind of exit the stage without even realizing. And sometimes we're not really even aware. Like, I wasn't really aware. And then it just started kind of unfolding in a way that I was like, where did those people go? What happened to them? And I know what happened. Like, four of them, like the two couples, they actually kind of moved away. They moved away to different, one was a different part of the state and one was another state, completely, entirely moved away completely. And so one of the other points I'm thinking of, my next point is thinking of about frequencies, our vibrational frequency of who we are. And so sometimes our vibrational frequency can be the same. I feel, now these are just my opinions, and these are things that I've learned online, and things that I've researched myself, and things that I have felt myself. And so for me, a big part of my life is my vibrational frequency. Like, where am I, and who am I drawing into my life with my vibrational frequency at this moment? Like, what is the frequency of my everyday life at this time? What am I doing? Who am I drawing to me and to my life? And what is their purpose in my life? So those are some questions that we can ask ourselves. If it's my opinion. It's just my opinion. As I've said before in my videos, I am not a certified anything. I'm not a certified doctor. I'm not a certified nurse. I'm not a certified practitioner of any kind. What I am certified in is, you know, learning life by living life and experience, and having experiences in my life that I never would have even would have imagined ever to come into my life. And so it's been very interesting, and it's been very, at times, difficult. It's been difficult. There's been a lot of sadness. There's been a lot of ups and downs. And I'm just now thinking at this moment. So, with my notes on the vibrational frequencies of what my life was at that time, and then how it changes as far as people coming and going into my life. So, I feel like with a lot of the sadness is a lower vibrational frequency, if you will. And it's something that we don't necessarily want to, we don't want to stay there. And it's hard, it's difficult, because sometimes we do want to stay there, right? We do want to stay there. And there was a family member, I actually went to visit some family in the state of California, and one of the family members actually said, stop, just stop. You have to stop. And I thought, I want to stop. I want to change how I feel. I don't want to be sad continuously, but I can't. I can't stop. How can I do that? And so as time went on, eventually the sadness did go away, but that is just such a low vibration. it's such a low vibration that we don't want to stay in very long. But sometimes life changes make us get into a position of what we're feeling for a long, long time. And so today, that sadness will come and go, but it's very, 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 very short lived. And I've been able to do some different things that have helped me to raise my vibrational frequency. And with that, I feel like there have been some changes to come into my life that have been really good changes. I've had new people come into my life and onto the scene of my stage and onto the scene of my life. And I'm just very grateful. I'm very grateful for the things that I've learned and the things that I'm learning and the things that I observe and the things that I see people do and that contribute to my life and to contribute to my learning by what they're doing and what I'm observing. And so I'm just very grateful. And so I think that raising our vibrational frequency is a very important thing. And it can really propel us to do things that we never would have really thought possible. And so one of the things that actually I have to be quite honest, I never so back let's go back 2017. Let's go back for just a moment. And I was where I what I do, I was working with some students, and we were working on a lesson that was about their future. And so we were doing some different activities that they had to look at what are you going to be doing in 10 to 12 years when you become an adult. And so one of the pardon me YouTube, thank you so much YouTube channel. One of the students says, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And I just thought, okay, well, this is my knowledge of YouTube back in the day. Back in 2017, I wasn't very much on YouTube. I didn't really visit YouTube a lot. It was just something that I just was not welcoming into my life, just for whatever reason, not for anything, no reason, good or bad or otherwise. It was just I may go into YouTube here and there, but not extensively. And so when this student said that, I just thought, okay, I really hope that you get there, but it could take you quite a while to do that. And so they were just adamant. That's what they're going to do for a job. That's where they're going to work, is for the YouTube. They're going to be a YouTuber. And I thought, okay, well, maybe you want to try to get something that's a little more sustainable as well. And, to pair them up, and you have at least a good solid income coming in. That was my thinking in 2017. And so fast forward to today, I didn't know that I was going to ever do a YouTube channel. I never dreamed it. I never thought it. I actually feel like I didn't want it. I actually just thought I have a day job. I don't need to be on YouTube. And thank you, YouTube channel, for giving me the opportunity to actually show up and to be here. And I've actually, since then, I started this YouTube channel, which I didn't even know that I had. I mentioned this in my Spanish channel, that this channel was actually already created and I didn't know. So I will say a year ago this month, a family member had encouraged another family member to start a YouTube channel as well. So then they were trying to encourage me to start a YouTube channel. And I thought, no, I have a day job. I am not starting a YouTube channel. I don't have the time. I don't have the desire. You start the YouTube channel. They told you to do it. So here we are trying to pass YouTube along, right? And so they never did start their channel that I'm aware of. And, fast forward to today. Well, then by February, I looked into it and I thought, I don't even know where to begin a YouTube channel. So I was asking God. I said, what am I don't even know, how does that even work? I don't know, how would I do that? Well, I went into my YouTube, and I went on my computer and I just kind of started to search around a little bit, and I was still asking God. I thought, this is silly. I don't know how to do this. I'm today's years old. I'm a mother of two sons. I am a grandmother. Why would I start a YouTube channel, and what would I just have no idea. So I say all that to say that sometimes our vibrational frequency can be here, but then as time goes on, our vibrational frequency goes here, it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful to me that my vibrational frequency started to raise, and I started to feel better and better and happier and stronger and healthier, and just happier, stronger, healthier, joyful, more love, more care, more everything. Just my frequency just really started to raise. And so I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. And I'm excited that YouTube is allowing me to be on the platform. They've even given me access to other little tools inside the platform that I can utilize to make my videos. And so I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful that I was able to create a second channel, which I never would have dreamed. I never would have thought that I could even do. And so the way I found my channel was that I was kind of searching around a little bit, and I was just asking God, which I always ask. I've told you before, beautiful ladies out there, I've told you before, I always say, what do I do? What I don't know what I'm doing next. I need your help. And so I always leave it to God. And I started to look around YouTube, and I found something that said that my channel had been created since, I think back then it said 2013. And I thought, no, this is wrong. Something is wrong here. I've never created a channel. I don't even know how to do that. I would not have any idea. And so I just thought there's a typo, there's an error somewhere. I don't know anything about it. Well, I think I kind of just left it at that. And then eventually I just started looking back into it again. And then I thought, this is interesting. Like, there's an actual channel. I don't understand how this happened. This channel came out of nowhere. That's what I'm thinking. I know YouTube has the background on it. They would know, YouTube would know what happened. I don't know. I never physically went in and opened a channel, started a channel. I did not. I promise you, I would not even have known how to do that. But fast forward to today. Fast forward to actually, goodness, I'm trying to think when I know that I started working on the channel was in February of 2024. And I probably uploaded some things, and I did upload some things in Spanish. Everything was on my heart in Spanish for some reason at that time. And so I started just kind of doing some videos in Spanish. And now I have two channels. So I have the English channel, which is this channel. And by the way, if you don't know, and I haven't mentioned it, my name is Rebecca. My name is Rebecca, and I'm just elated. I feel an elation that is indescribable. It just makes me so joyful. It just makes me so happy, so joyful. And I just never would have thought that I would ever be on this platform in my life. Never would I have thought that I would be at this point in my life. I do this for fun. I do it just when I have a moment, when I have a little bit of time. I don't always have time. I don't always have the desire to get online. I have other things that I have to do. And as you've seen in my last video, it's talking about self-care. So I do a lot of the self-care because of the illness that I had, which actually just one doctor just figured out it was just extreme stress. It was an extreme amount of stress that took a complete huge toll on my body, and my systems, my organs were starting to shut down. And I was not even like, I'm today's years old. Yes, I have two sons and I'm a grandmother, and I just don't feel like I needed to be that ill. And it would have been an illness that could have been, maybe 30, 40 years down the road, not when it happened. And so I stand by those words. I am very grateful to YouTube. I have such a good time. I enjoy getting on the channel and the platform, and I enjoy telling about my story, and I enjoy sharing different thoughts and ideas. And so back to the vibrational frequency part, when I realized that I actually had a channel and I didn't have to try to figure out how everything was working and how to unfold everything, and like I was asking God, I kept saying like, I have no idea how to do this. I don't how Where do I even start? Where do I click? What do I look at? Where do I go? Like, do I have to do research? I started doing research, and it when it said my channel had begun in 2015, I thought, no, I did not do that. And then I just thought, okay, don't fight it. Don't fight it. So a little part of my vibrational frequency raised at that point. I feel like, don't fight it. Don't try to control it. Just accept that your channel has already been started. Thank you, God. Thank God. Thank YouTube. And just run with it. And so then I started looking more and more into it, and I started doing a few little um, videos. Then I started doing some shorts. And there you have it. Here I am. Then I just decided, actually, just October 7th, 2024, I started my Spanish channel. And if you go all the way back on the English channels, which is The Timeless Journey by Rebecca, it actually, my videos are, some of them are in Spanish, and I wanted them to be in English, but somehow Spanish was on my heart at that time. And so that's why the videos are in Spanish. And so now, today, a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, I started the Spanish channel. So it is actually just another thing that was on my heart. And I feel like the channel was birthed because of the journey that I've been on, and has gotten me to today. There's so many things that were happening in my life that I feel like I don't know that I want to share on YouTube. They're pretty strong content. And so I want to share them, but in a different realm, like in a different setting. And so those will just have to be kind of tabled for the moment. But moving on to my next point. So my first point is, sometimes your friends, you're just kind of going, where did everybody go? Why are different people exiting the scene of my life? So that's why I kind of like to look at it as a play, because then I can see, okay, some people are here now, but then they kind of exit the scene. They exit stage left, let's say. Exit stage left. So then new people come onto the scene. New people come onto the stage, and you're interacting with them, and you're having a great time, and you're just living life, and everything is great. And so with that exiting stage left, actually, I exited stage left myself, as in I actually was I was working for one entity, and then I ended up changing to a whole other entity. And it's still in the same realm of my line of work. I just switched companies, if you will. It's not really a company, it's an organization, I should say. And so I switched to another one because I feel like I needed to shed what was my life from back here to 2022. And so through my asking God, what do I do next? That was one of the things that I needed to do. And so where are all my friends going was one of the first, that's my first point. My second point is, you know, different people come and go off the scene of our the stage of our life. And then my third point is my vibrational frequency, or our vibrational frequency as a human race. We connect with different people. And I feel like that's all interwoven with my first 2 points. Like, where did everybody go? Well, the individuals that were helping me, cooking for me, being so kind to me, and so caring to me in so many different ways, it was just their time to exit stage left. And so now we're on a new vibrational frequency. It's a different vibrational frequency in which you're going to call in other vibrational frequencies of other humans and other people into your life. This is the way I see it. This is what I've read. These are some of the things I've learned, I've read, and I've studied about. And they're the only reasons I'm bringing them up. Not that I'm an expert and not that I'm certified in anything. As I've always said before, I'm not a certified anything except for the School of Life, School of Experience. That's where I am certified for myself, just by myself, just through my own experiences. I certify myself in that I have done this and I have surpassed it and I've lived it and I know what it's about and I'm moving on. So that goes on to my fourth point. It's time to move on. So with that thinking of time to move on came the birthing of my YouTube channels. And so I still have my day job and I still do that. That's my main thing and that's what I love to do. YouTube, I feel like YouTube, and my beautiful daughter-in-law, she actually mentioned this, I feel like YouTube is just a way that I can express myself and I actually can share parts of my life and parts of my story to those of you beautiful women out there who are actually listening and who might take who might be able to extract some of my experience to help you in some small way. I would love to see that, where you feel like there is some assistance out there, because when I needed the assistance, I wasn't able to find. I searched and the one entity that I came across online, I looked into it and I spoke to them. I had like a Zoom call with this particular organization. And I really, really, really wanted the assistance to get myself to the next level of what I want to do in my life. And that is to continue to get more healthy, to continue to be more happy, to continue to just move forward in my life as best that I can, as a female, as a human, as a mother and a grandmother, and getting to the point where I can be okay with not even being a wife anymore for the time. I very much, very, very, very much take my role as a wife that I was for such a long time very seriously. And I very much enjoyed it. And I very much loved being a wife, but I'm no longer that. That is not my role anymore. And so that took a lot of different aspects of my life to come to, like, the realization of, this is not you anymore. You're someone else. So you have to move on. You have to move ahead and find something to do. And so YouTube has been such a great avenue, such a great tool, such a great platform that has come into my life that I never would have thought. Like I've said before, this one particular young person said, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And I thought, okay. Not knowing, it's always those moments. I always think, yeah, okay, if that's what you think. And it's those moments of my life that I end up actually almost feeling like I should not have said that because now that's going to come into my life. And so, in a very beautiful, loving, positive, extraordinary way, YouTube has come into my life, not just for me to look up recipes on how to make some sort of a different dish, not just an avenue for me to look up a video on how to take care of my skin, not just a way for me to look at my very most favorite beautiful music that I love to listen to. I use YouTube a lot for music and songs that I like. And so YouTube is now in my on the stage of the scene of my life in such a very different way and in a very different capacity. And I'm just so grateful. And so it was time to move on. And with that being said, time to move on. So February and now October, as I said, I started the Spanish channel, and it's just been, as I mentioned in my very last video, my Spanish channel has really, I got some feedback from different ones from both channels. I won't say from just the one, from both channels. And they were very positive feedback. And I was very excited to know that I actually helped one person in particular. And it made her, it just brought her to tears when she was messaging me. It brought her to tears. And it was interesting how something that I lived through would have helped someone else and would have given them a different perspective on their own life, and in a way that they are now viewing their life in a different fashion, in a different way, to where they felt like they could make changes. This person has now gone on to even begin her own little business. And it's time to move on, beautiful ladies out there, beautiful women out there. It's so beautiful. And all you precious ladies out there, there's just so much that we can do on a positive level to really, once we start raising our vibrational frequency, once we start to get happy, once we start to feel joy, once we start to feel better and start to feel healthier and start to really take care of us, like you've seen in my other video. If you watched my very last video that I've done, I think it's been about 2 weeks ago. I want to say it's been at least 2 weeks, possibly. I'm talking about self-care. And so self-care is just such an integral part of my life. And I do so many little things to self-care. And like I said, I believe in that video, I do what I want to do and I don't do what I don't want to do. And most of all, I don't ever want to feel rushed. I don't ever want anyone to rush me. I don't allow anyone to rush me into something. I don't allow anyone to push me to the point of rushing me for some reason. I do things when I want and I do things when I'm ready. And that's what's keeping me, I feel like, at a healthy stage in my life. And that has helped me to move on, which is my fourth point. So moving on, looking at my life like, this is my life and I am the CEO of my life. I'm not the CEO of anything else. I'm not the CEO of a bank. I'm not the CEO of a company, a corporation, or an organization, but I am the CEO of my own person and my own body. And so I will run my life and my body in a way where I don't want to be rushed. I want to be strong. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to be joyful. And I have to look at how can I make that happen for myself. And so I do things. And actually, this beautiful beauty right next to me, it's just one of the things I do for self-care. And she's just so gorgeous. She's just gorgeous. I actually had her in the living room, and she was quite smaller when I bought her, but she's just so beautiful. And so this is one of the things I love to do for self-care. I love to have my plants, and I love to take care of my plants and different things like that. And so anything we can do to make ourselves happy and to feel better, to raise our vibrational frequency, which is point number 3. And then now moving on, it's just time to move on and do something else with our lives and something that brings us joy. And it doesn't have to be, when I say moving on, it doesn't mean that it has to be something that is drastic. It doesn't have to be something that is so life changing and so earth shattering and earth shaking. This is just something that I wrote in my notes about, it's okay. It's okay to move on to do something different. It's okay to move on to have a different job or start a new job or start a new career. Now, I didn't start a new career by any means. I'm still in the same line of work that I've done for 20 plus years, and I love it. I enjoy it, and I very much am very happy with it. It's time to move on in other parts of my life, and other people coming into the scene of my life, and other people coming to the stage of me and my life, and I'm okay with that, and it's perfectly fine, and I'm happy with that. And the people who have exited the scene of my life, exited stage left, that's okay, and I'm okay with that. And excuse me, I need to take a little drink. Excuse me. I always mention very important to hydrate. And wintertime is really hard for me to hydrate. So what I like to do is I like to actually add a little hydration powder to my water so that I can more easily say, I really need to take a drink of water, and do it more frequently during the day. Precious, beautiful women, beautiful ladies out there, I just really want to encourage you to find different ways to raise your vibrational frequency. And I've actually mentioned that in other videos. So I don't know if you've all seen my video where I took the helicopter ride. And that was just, that was a wonderful, most beautiful, most exciting. I just want to see if there's anything in the chat. I don't see anything in the chat at this time. Okay. It's okay. So that was one of the things I did for self-care. And then, of course, I mentioned, other things that I do for self-care and for my life. But moving on, point number 4, just moving on and doing different things in our life that make us happy, make us smile, make us joyful. And our vibrational frequency raises. And so starting the YouTube channel, I never would have dreamed it, never would have thought of it, never would have actually ever desired it. But YouTube it's just, what a kind way to invite and allow a person to come into a space where we can talk about something, we can feel comfortable, we can be in the comfort of our own home, our own environment, and just, who knows? You know what? I just thought of something. So here I have this particular, it's a little picture, and it actually says, take the time to bloom. I mean, why couldn't I ever replace that with one of the YouTube, I don't know, what is that? I don't know, what is that thing called? The YouTube, whatever. I'm not sure what I don't know what they're called. I can't even say I'm not sure. I don't know what they're called, but that YouTube thing that people get at some point after doing their videos for such a while, an amount of time or subscribers or whatever. What if I replace that with something from YouTube? Why couldn't I? Why not? I don't know. Don't know if it'll ever happen, but either way, it's time to move on, ladies. Time to do something different. Time to figure something different out. Time to look at ourselves, look at our lives, and think, what else can I do? What changes can I make that will enhance who I am? And that brings me to another point, which will be like a bonus point tonight. It's pardon me. I will say it's like point number 5, bonus point. Let's do this as a bonus point. I call this leveling up. This is my leveling up era of my life. So my life was such at a place that was, you know, I I lived my life. I had a marriage. I had a husband. I had two children, and things unfolded and came to a point where now I don't have. I'm not in a marriage anymore. I am actually by myself now. I am just in a whole different realm of my life, and so what I started to do was the very first thing that I started to do was I went to therapy, which some people might go, I'm not doing that. And I'm not saying you have to. No one has to go to therapy, but I wanted to go. And actually, one of my sons encouraged me to go, and I did. And it was one of the best things that I could ever have done. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid to tell you. And it was one of the best things. And this person, she was such a beautiful person inside and out. She just listened. We took walks. We had cups of tea together. Um, we visited. She asked me questions. I asked her questions. It was one of the most beautiful experiences that I've ever had with someone that I don't know. And it was very enlightening and very informative to me for the time in my life that I needed. And actually, she also exited stage left of my life too, because I needed her back in 2022. And then she exited stage left, and then I didn't ever see her again. And I don't know that I ever will unless I call her and look her up. And that's okay. I can do that if I want to. And actually, it might not be a very bad idea. It would actually be nice to be able to see her and say hi to her again. She was very helpful in my life. And then I started doing other things, which I had actually started back even before 2021, 2022. I would take a course here and there. Back in 2017 or 18, I think is the very first time I started taking the course to level up my life. It's what I like to call leveling up. So you're here, your vibrational frequency is here, right? So we're going to go back to point number 3, and then you're like, I really need something more. I need something more out of my life. I need something to grab my attention. I need something to stimulate my mind. I need something to help me to grow in my thinking, and to help me to become a better person in life, and around people that are around me and I'm around them. And so I started doing that. I started just taking courses on different kind of topics and things like that. And so that's my era of leveling up, my leveling up era of my life. And it's just been so eye-opening, and it's been very informative, and I've learned a lot, and it's taught me a lot to do that. And I've had different people again coming into my life, and then they exit stage left. I learn something from them, and then they exit the scene of my life. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And I look at myself today and I think, you made it through a very serious illness, which should not have ever had to have happened. It came about in my life just because of the surroundings, the environment, the different individual that was in my life and was a part of my life for such a long time. They are no longer a part of my life. And again, that's all okay. And my life is different now. And so, point number 5, this time of my life to level up is, what do I need to do with Rebecca? What does Rebecca need to do to feel better, act better, sound better, look better, feel better, approach life better, approach life in a way that will be helpful, not only for myself, but even for you beautiful, precious women out there who are struggling with something. There's been so many things that I want to talk about on YouTube, and I hold myself back a lot of the time because I'm not sure how everyone's going to take it, and I'm not sure how it will come across, but there are so many things I really want to talk about. And I have to figure out a way to just kind of step out of that thinking and out of that feeling of what I've been feeling and thinking and just share it with you, precious ladies out there, because I know that my thoughts and my feelings would really be helpful to you in so many ways, as I needed them to help me when I was searching for answers that I needed, answers and to questions that I had. I needed the answers and I wasn't able to find what I was looking for. Still to this day, I've not really been able to find the exact answers that I've wanted. And so I feel like being able to be here on YouTube and talking to you, precious ladies out there who might be undergoing some of the same things. Stress can be a very, very debilitating thing in our life. And so that's the particular video that I created, that I set up 2 weeks ago, about 2.5 weeks ago, was really based on self-care. And I just really want to express myself in the way that I really feel like it's so important for you, precious ladies, precious women out there, to really, really look at yourselves and give yourselves that self-care that you need, and really fine tune whatever it is that is maybe bothering you, and bring yourself full circle, bring yourself around. And I'm going to go over those points again because I feel like those things are all of this. I feel like all of these things had to happen in my life so that I could get to where I am today. And so when I woke up one day and said, where did all my friends go? Where did some of my friends go? Like, what happened? That was point number one. Like, I felt like I don't know, why did people come into my life, and why did they take care of me the way they did, and then now they're gone? Like, where did they go? Like, of course they moved away, and you know, the one person is still in my environment. Uh, the the gentleman that actually cooked me that delicious, extraordinary meal that really helped me to get moving and get up from my sick bed, he is still kind of a part of my life in some way, but not like an integral part anymore. He did his part. He did his part. And I feel like that's something that we want to look at too, is different people do different things in our lives, different vibrations in our lives, different times in our lives, and different frequencies. And we're all on a different frequency, right? From each other. And so he's still around, he's still there, but he's not quite an integral part of my life anymore as he was at some time. That was 2 years ago, almost 3 now. And so the next point was that different people come and go from our life, and that's okay. That's quite all right. People are going to exit left of our stage, and that's perfectly fine. And then my next point was the vibrational frequencies and how we can be here, right? We can be just right here, just like at a surface level, but sometimes we need more as women and as ladies. We, as a female, sometimes we really want to extract more from life. And so that's me. I'm just one of those persons that I really love to look for more ideas and look for more answers, and not just have surface level thinking. I really like to be, you know, I like for the bar to be raised, and I like for my brain to be stimulated. And so that just that just just reminded me of people that were in my past some years ago. And there were actually some that really inspired me. There was one that was a gentleman, and one was a mentor for me, and they both really inspired me in so many different ways. And they really they did they gave my brain that stimulation that I needed back then. But they also have exited stage left my life as well. And so, in fact, one of them, she is actually living in, I'm not sure if she's living in Guatemala. I'm not sure where she's living. But I actually just saw a picture of her on Facebook today. So, LH, talking to you. So, talking about you. So, anyway, let's see. Okay, what happened here with the chat? Okay, I don't see anything. All right, sorry to look over to the side here. I was just looking, something happened with the chat that said that we're not connected. And yes, now we are connected, actually. Okay. All right. So then leveling up is my fourth point. So figuring out a way to make life better, sound better, look better, feel better, have better opportunities in our lives. More people coming into our lives, different people that teach us, we learn from, and maybe we even teach them too. And then the very last point, still part of leveling up. No, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Okay, leveling up. Maybe I got those mixed up. Anyway, the one of the points, time to move on. Point number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Oh dear, I think I mixed it all up. Precious ladies, I'm so sorry. I think I mixed it all up. I have it right here, but somehow I'm kind of not sure how I did that. I'm not perfect. Please, I'm not perfect. So, anyway, one of the other points is time to move on, looking at our life and just saying, okay, well, what do I need to do now? You know, that's one of the questions I always ask myself. I always ask God, what do I do now? And so one of the things was starting the YouTube channel, which I never would have thought of. And then I start another one. So I started this one. I actually started delving into it. We're working on it in February of 2022, I believe was my very first video. And then October 7th was when I started my Spanish channel. And I'm just excited about that. And I love it. And what I do on the English channel, I like to do on the Spanish channel. So I'll have to go in. I don't know if I can actually go in this evening because I would actually like to go in and have a little bit of dinner and just have some time for myself. But I'm really looking forward to possibly for tomorrow going into my Spanish channel and doing the Spanish version of this channel, of this information. And so then the bonus point was actually, goodness, I didn't write that down. I'm sorry. I had the ideas and the thoughts. I need to rewind back to whatever minutes that was. But basically, leveling up, looking at our life and figuring out a way to make ourselves better, look better, feel better, speak better, just taking care of us, just we are a mom. Well, first of all, let me lay it out the way my life was. I was a wife. That was first and foremost for me. Then I became a mother to 2 beautiful little boys who are now beautiful big boys. and then I have now also become a grandmother as well. And I'm just very grateful. I'm very, very excited and very happy with my little family that I have. And the sadness of not being a wife anymore. Yes, it was there for a really long time. It has now been 2 years and I'm okay. I'm actually okay. It's not something I would ever condone. It's not something I would ever say, go out and try this. Yes, try this at home. Never, ever, 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 ever. If it was up to me and my decision in my life, I would still be a wife today and I'm still be married, but it's not that way. Life doesn't happen that way. So, you know what? What do they say? Life throws you lemons, make lemonade. So I have really tried to figure out how to, make that lemonade and make it nice and tasty and sweet and make my life as comfortable and good as possible. And I have my lovelies, beautiful of these. One of my grandchildren says, we have so many plants in this house. And yes, we do. We have a lot of plants. And this one has actually grown very large. She's very big. She's very tall. And I love her. She's precious and she's beautiful. And I have more in other rooms of the home. And it's just one of those things that I love to do. And I love to just take care of them. And they're just part of my life and part of my home. They inspire my home to be lived in, and my home is very lived in and feels very good and very comfortable and very peaceful. And that's the other thing, ladies, precious women out there. Even though we don't ever expect to be in the position that I am in today, whereas I am a single person, I don't know if I've ever said that on YouTube before. Let me sit with that for a moment. I'm not a wife anymore. Not something I would have chosen. We can rise above. Raise those vibrational frequencies, ladies. Beautiful, precious women out there. Raise those vibrational frequencies. It is sad, but there's sad, and then there's beautiful happiness. And with happiness and with changes that we make in our lives as women, which are very difficult to do at times in our lives, there's always the wonderful relationship and the faith that we can have in our Creator who is in the heavens. He helps us, He takes care of us, He does everything for us, especially. I want to stress, especially as a woman who doesn't have a husband, and especially as a woman who doesn't have that male figure in her life. God is there to take care of us, and God is there to support us in every way possible. And so if you don't have that faith, get it, strengthen it however you can. Look for ways to build up your faith and really look to Him for every decision, everything you want to do. I was talking to a beautiful woman, precious woman, just a week ago, not even a week ago. She is actually the mother of this gentleman who cooked for me when I was so very ill. And she says, I just I don't know what to talk to him about. I'm having some financial thoughts and changes in my life, and I don't know, what do I do? What do I say? And I don't even think I can talk to him. I can't talk to him. I can't talk to God about that. And I said, oh my goodness, please stop. You must talk to God about your finances. You must talk to God about your financial situation. That is so important. So beautiful, precious women out there, sometimes even just a very small, what might seem as so minute and minuscule to some. Sometimes I even say, what do I wear today? What am I going to wear? How am I going to wear my hair? And those are things that I'm asking out loud, and I'm asking God because I want to look appropriate. I want to present myself appropriately. And those are just things that you can ask. You can ask any single little thing you want. You can ask your Creator, our Creator. And so that's such an integral part of my life. And it's so beautiful. And it's just such a precious part of me that I'm very grateful for. And if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here at this point in my life in any capacity at all. He got me where I am today. So I'm very grateful to God. Very, very grateful to God and His Son, Jesus Christ, which I am very much love both of them very, 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 very strongly. And I want to encourage you all to look to them too. Look to God for whatever things you have on your mind, whether it's this small or whether it's so insurmountable that it's overwhelming for you. Look to God for all the answers that we need. And that's just what I want to encourage you to do. Thank you so much, women, precious, beautiful women out there, precious ladies. Thank you for being. I always want to make these videos short, and I end up making them so long. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And again, I always want to thank the countries that join me and log on, countries that are just, I've had to write it down because I can't always remember. So Australia, Canada, Mexico, Chile, Argentina, United States, United Kingdom, Great Britain. Those are the countries that have been joining me thus far. And I'm just so grateful. Like, how could we ever reach? How could our videos ever reach? How could I ever reach anyone in Great Britain, in the United Kingdom, Argentina? I've never been to any of these countries. I've never been to Europe. I've never been, I've been to Canada and I've been to Mexico. Oh, pardon me. Mexico is another one of the countries that always joins in. Australia. I've never been to Australia. I've never been to Chile. I've never been to any of these countries, and yet they're joining me. And so you beautiful, precious ladies out there, I'm so grateful for you. Hugs and love to you all. Respectfully, kindly, beautifully, and lovingly respect. Hugs and love to you all. Take care of yourselves, beautiful, precious women, whatever your situation is, whatever you're going through, whatever you're handling at this time of your life. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for taking in the points that I bring out. And thank you so much, YouTube. YouTube, wow. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube Studio. Thank you for giving me the tools and the different parts of the YouTube platform that I'm able to access now that I've been making more and more videos. Thank you for all the information you give me from all my videos. And thank you so much for watching. Everyone, thank you so much. And I do want to go into my Spanish channel as well and do the same content. So, precious, beautiful women out there, take care of yourselves. Stay warm, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Don't know when that will be, but I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. And until next time, stay safe. Bye for now.